Happy Thursday, everybody. It's December 10th, 2020. I do have tutoring after school today, so come to tutoring, come in the Zoom. You should know by now, right? Just go to my main page and click on the link. I also mentioned in the email, Northside offers tutoring. So if you realize you don't know how to do something at 8 o'clock at night, you can call the Northside tutors. And apparently the link should be available. The link should be available in your Schoology main page. If you click there, you should be able to see tutoring from Northside, and they will have a teacher. They have all content areas there, whether it's English, science, social studies, whatever, and they can help you with tutoring in any of your classes. So just be aware of that. In that email, I also send a link to talk to a counselor. If you are overly stressed out and you're a little too stressed out, be sure and send a message and speak to a counselor, because I know sometimes things are hard, and especially if we're tired, that stress can really get to us. So if you need help, be sure and ask for it. So today we will focus on reading argumentative writing. That's what we've been doing, right? We're going to continue doing that. And I'll pay attention to the effectiveness and persuasiveness of the article. For the close, I just have a fun, silly riddle. If you want to take a stab at it, see if you can figure it out. I think it's a little harder than the one I had yesterday. The one yesterday was too easy. Most of us got it. If you take 2, then you have 2. So most of us put, 2 oranges. That's what you have. I didn't really trick hardly anybody. Darn it. So today's riddle. Read over today's riddle. Come up with the answer that you think it is, and then I'll share what the answer is to it tomorrow. And I think it's fun. It's a little more difficult than the one today, or the one from yesterday. All right, let's do our positive affirmations. Today is a good day, and they help us think positively. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I was not raised to be positive. I was raised being told I was stupid, and I was in the way, and I was annoying, and I was called lots of names in Spanish, and that was normal for me. This is abnormal. I have to suffer to do this, but I'm so used to it. It's become a new normal, and I want us all to create new normals for ourselves. So come on, let's say these together. Let's grab that barbell. What are you? I am smart, confident, and successful. Yes, you are. And how do you feel about writing? I love writing. How do you feel about getting your work done? I love getting my work done. Yeah, don't it feel good when you get things done? You can feel good about yourself, and that's way better than a lot of other feelings that we could have. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so what are we doing for today? This is the grading I was working on. Let's come back to... Oh, I'm in the wrong week. No wonder I can't find it. Once again, if you need tutoring, click this link here. I will be here today after school. And then we go into today's work, Thursday's work, graded assignment. And there's our riddle. If you want to answer the riddle, do that later. For right now, let's work on this. Open up your own copy. We're going to read this together, but there is some stuff to write. And I thought that was it. Here it is. Here is the article we're going to be reading along with our prep for informational reading for argumentative writing. And of course, this is the most recent thing we've been working on, so you should be pretty confident for understanding this. So this is not the writing for the semester exam. This is to prep you for the writing. The 2 writings that we had earlier, those are for the first 2 questions on the semester exam. Those are already done. So if you get these done and you make a decent grade on them, of course, you can just skip them. Just leave them blank. You may want to message me, hey, Carvajal, make sure you remember that I did them, but I'll print out a list. I'll have a list of everybody that's done them, and I'll key those in. But this is to prep you for it. This is to help you understand it. So after we're done reading, you want to fill this in. What is the main argument? What's the main point that the writer's trying to make? And then let's just read over this. Read this excerpt from Why Women Compete with Each Other by Emily Gordon. As you read, consider how Gordon uses, does this sound familiar? It should. How she uses evidence, such as facts or examples to support claims, reasoning to develop ideas and to connect claims and evidence, stylistic or persuasive elements, right? Ethos, logos, pathos, such as word choice or appeals to emotion or credibility to add power to the ideas expressed. So that's what you're going to be looking for as you read. And then once we're done reading, you're going to come back and fill this in, right? What's the main point? And it's not quite as obvious as the ones we did before, right? The other ones were so easy. Put Kurt Flood in the Hall of Fame. We need national service now. You may have to think a little bit about this one to understand what the main argument is and what her point is. But once you've got that figured out, then you want to ask yourself, what are the elements that they used? You want to come up with at least two. And then, yes, before anybody asks me, sure, have this open the day of the exam and use this to help you plan your writing. And it'll be right here for you. This isn't exactly relevant to what we're doing today, but just as a reminder, genre characteristics for nonfiction, the way things are organized, sometimes make a difference, right? Looking at the sequence of events, they're organized that way, just chronological. Description by categories, a process description, right? Any kind of instruction manual is a process description. Compare and contrast. Here's how they're the same. Here's how they're different. Problem and solution, or cause and effect. So that's ways most nonfiction, informational, and argumentative kind of stuff is written. For their purpose, they're giving information, give necessary explanation, show what is and is not important. And of course, this is more argumentative what we're reading. This is just a reminder. And so you can read over the rest of that if you want. Okay, so let's go ahead and read this article together. Once again, if you're not paying attention, it's time to pay attention. Oh, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to somebody else. So let's go ahead and read together. So, Why Women Compete with Each Other, from the New York Times, Emily Gordon, October 31st, 2015. From Los Angeles. I had a tightly knit group of female friends in elementary school. We called ourselves the Sensational Six. As the dominant girl force in our little universe, we felt important and exclusive, a unit in matching handmade sweatshirts. Time went by, and all my classmates and I watched as puberty reached down to form us, shapeless little lumps of children, into young men and women, into the haves and have-nots. Women compete, compare, undermine, and undercut one another. At least that is the prevailing notion of how we interact. It's considered exceptional, or at least noteworthy, that famous women like Amy Schumer and Beyonce and Taylor Swift acknowledge that other women are talented and frequently work with those other women without, in most cases, being catty about it. This makes them feminist heroes. Feeling on guard around other ladies is normal for a lot of women, and it's exhausting. I exhausted myself for years trying to understand how other girls could have gone from my closest allies to my scariest foes. I read an advice column and get a fair number of questions from women asking how to handle not trusting other women, so I do know I'm not alone. A good amount of research has been done on female competitiveness, both in condescending and eye-opening ways. A literature review by Tracy Valancourt in 2013 found that women by and large expressed indirect aggression toward other women, and that aggression is a combination of self-promotion, making themselves look more attractive, and derogation of rivals, being catty about other women. There are two main theories of why women are competitive in indirectly aggressive ways. Evolutionary psychology, which uses natural selection to explain our modern behaviors, said that women need to protect themselves from harm. So indirect aggression keeps us safe while lowering the stock of other women, right? And think about that. You're trying to keep yourself safe and look good, and you're trying to make them look bad, right? That's lowering the stock. Feminist psychology chalks up this indirect aggression to internalizing the patriarchy. and that's like a male-dominated mindset. As Noam Shapancer writes in Psychology Today, as women come to consider being prized by men their ultimate source of strength, worth, achievement, and identity, they are compelled to battle other women for the prize. In short, when our value is tied to the people we are attracted to, we turn on each other. I watched this happen to our sensational six, watched as our pastimes shifted from having goofy sing-alongs to trying on clothes, to pointing out one another's flaws, to primping before a mirror, and the final stop, making boys laugh. We were still friends, but we were suddenly aware of a new dimension. In high school, I decided that all my female friends were stupid and traded them for guy friends. I loved horror movies and heavy metal and used these interests to become a guy's girl. I thought that by segregating myself, I would save myself from the awareness that I wasn't ever going to be pretty, perfect, cool enough. And occasionally, I would get to make out with a male pal because hormones were running rampant. When another guy's girl joined our group, she and I became fast friends by lamenting how stupid girls were. And when we met new boys, we threw each other under the bus to flirt with them. I felt sick when she did this to me. I felt a sick thrill of power when I did it to her. Research tells us that women are compelled to level the playing field by any means necessary to make sure we have access to the best genetic material, right? Who are you going to make babies with? You want to find the best. Since these are not real concerns in our modern lives, our competitiveness becomes something a bit more private and understandable. That's the third theory of female competitiveness. It's like, I'd like to propose, we aren't competing with other women, ultimately, but with ourselves, with how we think of ourselves. For many of us, we look at other women and see, instead, a version of ourselves that is better, prettier, smarter, and something more. We don't see the other woman at all. It's a funhouse mirror that reflects an inaccurate version of who we are, but we turn on her anyway, because it's easier. We don't need to lower the stock of other women, either for future of the species, but for our own psyches. When we focus on being the dominant force in our universe, rather than invading other universes, we all win. And that's the article. I read the whole thing. How about that? So I hope it got you thinking. If you're looking for the main argument, the main idea, one of the best things you can do, right, is remember, read the very first paragraph, read the very last paragraph again, and you should be able to come up with something to put in here. So just as a reminder, for this assignment, it is not a grade. This is test prep, and it will help you make a better grade on the semester exam. This is only a grade if why? If you are not passing. So if you are not passing right now, you know who you are. Email me when you're done. Don't send me a message in the chat because I'll lose it, but if you send me an email, I won't. If you are not passing, email me when you're done filling out that little table, and I will change a low grade 0 to the grade you make on this, excluding major grades / the essay. So should you do it? Yeah, you should. It's going to help you do better on the final exam, the semester exam. But it is not a grade. It's just prep work. And once again, the day of the exam, can you have this document open? You sure can. And you should be able to refer back to this, to remind yourself, and have it open there for you to write a better writing on the day of the test. Okay, so let's get that done. If you have the urge, look at the riddle, see what you think the answer is, and put your answer. And of course, don't just copy other people's answer. Maybe you come up with a better answer. Focus on the details, come up with some kind of answer for that. Remember, you are smart, confident, and successful. And take care of business. Once again, email me if you need a grade replaced and you've done this work.